Coatings Decoded. Today we are talking about electric pumps. Job sites are ever evolving, from new innovative products to higher efficiencies in construction and application. A job site is a place where we see all kinds of things. Structures are more and more complex and budgets are tighter. In this episode, we will discuss big changes coming for coatings applicators and how harnessing new tech can save you money. Hello, everyone. I'm Corey with Tnemec Company, and today I'm joined by Niles Hickman. Niles is the marketing manager of surface preparation and protective coatings equipment for Graco. Hi, Niles.
Hi, Corey. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Thanks for joining us today. So word on the street is Graco is going to electrify airless spray pumps.
Absolutely. So little history here. We did start back a few years ago with the higher pressure, the 5,000 up to 7,250 PSI sprayers. We did start with the E Extreme. Sorry, got to get my nomenclature right. We started with the Graco E Extreme a while back. Those of you that have seen those in the market, they were the black driver with the extreme duty lower underneath, just like we have on our pneumatic Kings. Yeah, and those have evolved. Some feedback we had on the evolution of those and what the contractors were looking for is, as the materials are moving to higher and higher solids content, they just didn't have the horsepower to push the material and get, proper atomization and everything you're looking for out at the gun as those pressures and solids, climbed respectively. And so with that, the engineering team went back to the drawing board, and we actually launched in April of 2021 the new King E Series family, where we have both hazardous and ordinary location sprayers. The hazardous location is rated for a 50-to-1 and a 60-to-1, and the non-hazardous is a 60-to-1 and a 70-to-1. So a lot more capability now to have a truly airless spraying pump, 1K pump that is capable in any environment, and then able to pair that with a redesign to our extreme duty lower. And we put the 115 and the 145 cc lower on there, and we actually redesigned them to have the same internal geometries for better priming and flushability. And we're seeing great success out in the field. A lot of hype around that. It's really opening some doors for contractors for versatility, really.
Right. Well, and it's opening doors for us too, Niles. I'll tell you, as a coating manufacturer, kind of experiencing the whole evolution of airless spray technology, going all the way back to the King series pumps when you had 30-to-1 was probably the most common pump size out there. And you talked about it. I mean, we saw that evolution move to 45-to-1, 56-to-1, and then eventually we were developing coatings that needed 70-to-1 pumps, and everyone in the contracting world thought that was outrageous. And they had, older pumps that were still in that 30-to-1 range that just couldn't push out the higher solids coatings that we were developing. So as I sit here now and think about, the capabilities that you guys have developed with these electric pumps to match not only the old technology, the lower ratios in that 30-to-1, 45-to-1 range, but you've produced now electric pumps that can push to the magnitude of 7,200 PSI on job sites. To me is quite an accomplishment. So I say congratulations to you.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears coming out of the engineering team to make it happen at an affordable, rate. I mean, I don't want to be the salesman here, but traditionally, when we had the E Extreme, price was a concern to the field. I mean, it was a new technology for us, and it was not a cheap technology. So contractors were looking at a 30 to 50% premium over what they knew as far as pneumatics. And to get over that hump was a challenge. It really was. And so when we went back to the drawing board, we said we have to align these to where the pneumatic and the electric are in the same pricing bucket, if you will, to where there's no more a pitfall to getting conversion. And we want the field to see the benefits of, hey, not only is this beneficial to an in-plant scenario where they've tapped or exceeded their airdrops and what they can support, but their business is growing and they need to expand, but they don't want to invest in more airdrops and larger compressors. Now they can go to electric, plug the machine right into 110 volt or 240 with no performance change, depending on the two. Obviously you need to size the amperage of your circuit to get equal performance. But having that ability not only in the plant, but then transitioning that out into the field, where we know if you're doing coating, you had to do surface prep of some sort, whether it's by hand, blasting, grinding, whatever it may be to get to the specification you need for that coating. You did surface prep. Majority, you're going to have an air compressor involved, right? So the old adage is, well, I already have air on site. But with the introduction to electrics, now when that surface prep is done and you have your 900, 1600 CFM compressor, whatever size you may be running, and all your blast equipment, that can leave the job site. There's no reason for that diesel guzzling compressor to remain on site, because now you can have a 6 kW or larger generator. Mind you, a 6 kW generator, you and I could pick up and set in the back of a pickup. I mean, we're talking very small footprint here, and run our coatings application. There's no more, pneumatic poppet valves going off, causing a lot of noise pollution throughout the job site. And we're screaming at each other just to communicate. This new pump, you literally hear the balls clinking as the pump is changing over. I mean, I will not say it's silent. It's not silent, but in comparison to what we're used to in the industry, it's a very welcomed quiet. I was
on site.
Right.
Oh gosh, it's probably been 6 months ago. And it was an interesting, normally a pneumatic spray pump brand new is still a pretty quiet machine, but over time, the mufflers get beat up, or a lot of times they're missing, so those things get pretty loud, as anyone who's operated one or been within 100 yards of one knows. And I was on a job site and was excited to see one of our new coatings being sprayed for the first time, and sort of waiting on everything to get ready to go. And I had walked around, far away from the pump to visit with someone. And, I was growing impatient with why we weren't starting it. And I walked back around to notice they were already painting. But I had no idea they had started painting, because the electric pump was so quiet that they had been painting for some time and I hadn't noticed yet. So the noise reduction, you don't have that big compressor running, and you also don't have that pump firing constantly. So it is a big difference.
Absolutely. And then, the other thing to note is, we had the evolution of air motors as well, historically, and how we've gotten to where we are today with the XL air motor and the reliability and not having the icing issues and keeping that peak fluid horsepower further out into the curve where you can add more guns and such. Now, when we transition to electrics, our performance curve is flat. There is no drop. There's no icing, right? You don't have to worry about putting inevitably a dirty air supply, as there's, it seems, equal air, dirt, and oil being supplied to every pump out in the field today. Now, by simply plugging the cord in, all of that goes away.
Wow. You brought up a couple of issues that I hadn't even thought of. And that is the fact that you run these pumps, especially at the higher pressures, in a humid environment, and just the fact that all that air pressure is, being released quickly, those pumps can freeze up. In the old days, they used to talk about the pumps that would run away. They would freeze up or run away from us, and those issues they don't have to be a thing anymore. You've solved it.
Absolutely. The majority of polling the field, the majority of the materials being sprayed are in them middle of the road tip sizes, and being 17 to 23, 25, and these pumps address all of those with 1 or 2 gun operation. And so obviously there's always a lot of variables there. Is it summertime in Birmingham or late fall in Anchorage, and that plays into the coatings characteristics for your application that day. But with that being said, these electric pumps are, basically checking the box for about 95% of what, the markets are doing, whether that be in a rail yard, out coating a water tower. Interesting story there. Someone actually spraying Tnemic, high solids on a water tower. They were field testing for us, and they actually commented on how much quieter it was, because they typically would stage the pump inside the base of the water tower.
Right.
And the thing would cycle. They would basically be deaf sitting up in the bell portion of the water tower. And they put the electric in there, and the two painters were actually having a conversation as they were coating. And that was amazing. Something they never could have done before. So
no, they wouldn't be able to. And it's very, very important to be able to have that kind of communication. The coatings we've developed over the years, regulations constantly put pressure on us to get solvent out, and solids go up, and generally speaking, pot lives get shorter. So any sort of roadblock that a painter hits, if they're hanging from a stage off the floor, they need to be able to communicate efficiently with the guy on the ground running the pump. And this is going to be a huge breakthrough, I think, in their efficiency and communication, which should mean that they get through problems quicker, and they don't have as much problems with material kicking over and possibly that being waste. So it really, it solves a lot of problems besides just equipment. It also helps on the material usage side of their scenarios as well.
Absolutely. One other thing to note, on our pneumatic side, we have a standard 1-year warranty on all of our products, and, the air motors are reliable, but feeding them dirty air, things can happen.
Right.
When you delete that and you go to the electrics, our new electric drivers, we actually got a beautiful blue on now. So we went from black to blue.
Nice.
And those are coming with a 3-year warranty. And so, when a contractor transitions to electric, they can go into it with the peace of mind that, they have a 3-year warranty on this electric component. Wow. that is new to them. So,
yeah. So a new pump with a lot of extra benefits that cost the same and has 3 times as long a warranty. That's pretty special. That's a pretty special product.
Yeah. And, we're actually in the process right now of building on that, as we believe, investing in electrics is going to benefit the industry as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Well, Niles, thank you very much for being here today. I've really appreciated listening to all the great advancements that Graco's got coming out. Any final comments you've got for contractors who might be listening?
Just keep the ideas coming. Honestly, we have a lot of personnel, a lot of great people on the Graco team, and we love being out, seeing what's going on, seeing how jobs and techniques and everything industry related is evolving. So don't be afraid to reach out to your distributor, reach out to your material manufacturer, reach straight out to Graco and let us know, what you need. Ultimately, if we're giving you a hammer and you need a screwdriver, we want to know, because we want to make the best screwdriver that we can to make your job easier. Yep. Ultimately, we collectively as an industry are making money when coatings are going on the wall. So we want to make your lives easier by giving you the best products that are available. So I appreciate the opportunity to be part of this, Corey. Greatly thankful that Tanemic asked us to join in on the podcast.
Yep, you got it. Well, we sure appreciate you being here. Pump manufacturers like Graco continue to release new technology as coatings continue to get more innovative, helping to make the spray process and pass along savings in time, labor, and ultimately money.